Hello, people of the internet, this is C18. Now, before I get into the main topic, I got a few things to say. Um, Within the last week, I've noticed I have gotten 3 subscribers, and I want to say thank you for thinking that I'm that cool. Um, just so everyone knows, I'm doing this for fun. I'm not doing this to be the next big YouTuber or anything like that. I'm not gonna put that much effort into this at all. Like this low quality camera, my PC is my microphone, and I have no background other than the hotel room I'm in because this is when I'm doing my videos. Uh, I don't know why, but I enjoy talking to myself in my room with just random thoughts to express. So another thing I want to mention is that I think I'm going to slow down how often I'm going to be doing my deck techs. I only have so many decks, and I'm not going to build a deck to present to you guys because that's more money and effort than I want to put into what I do. I like my decks. I put a lot of effort into it. So um, I think I'm going to bring them back to about every 4 to 6 weeks so I could prolong the inevitable amount of decks. So, with those out of the way, this topic is going to be my thoughts on the Commander 2018 product as a whole and the cards that I'm going to be picking up for it. The reason why I'm picking up specific cards and not any of the decks is because I'm not interested in any of the decks. Uh, I've seen most of these archetypes before. The Lands Matter deck, I have the Gift Monster. The Bant Enchantress deck, I have a Naya version of it with your old Mistalker. I've seen a million different types of artifact decks ranging from mono blue to 5-color, and they're all interesting in their own right. This is the first straight Izzet one with a commander centric on that, and that's cool. The only deck that sparked my interest was the Top of the Deck Matters, mainly because I wanted to see what it did, and I think not only that, but all the other decks kind of fell through. The enchantment deck, like it's pretty easy to do enchantments. It's pretty easy to do artifact centers. Lands should be easy. You play a bunch of landfall and lands die matter cards, and there's not that many payoffs in that. And the Esper one, it fell through really hard because instead they didn't really make enough payoffs, in my opinion. And there's a bunch of enablers that they could have had in there. They could have had Future Sight, Magus of the Future, Soothsaying, and Sensei's Divine Top all in this deck, and they're like, nope. So, despite the fact that I don't like any of the face commanders, the deck lists are not that interesting on top of that. I'm not a person who goes out and gets reprints. I primarily get the original art if I can. But the the only deck that actually has decent reprints is the Bant deck, the Enchantress, mainly because of the Enchantress's presence. Um, and they're making us pay more money for it. Like I think this is the first dud of all the Commander products, and I wish that didn't happen. I wish there was um, more to these decks. I wish they went back to the full 5 instead of staying at 4. Uh, I understand some logistics behind why, but I miss the 5 decks. Like, you could easily do a full spread of different color combinations rather than reducing it to what they did here. So onward to the cards that I am picking up for this of my small list. So no particular order, of course. So um, Windgrace's Judgment. This is the Maelstrom Pulse on crack. It's 5 mana, it's an instant speed, and it hits a permanent from each of your opponents. This is very strong. This can catch people off guard, and it lets you play like a blue player. You just wait until right before your turn to use it. I have a handful of decks I would love this in. I would like it in my Gitrar monster deck, mainly because it's another very efficient removal spell. I'm going to be playing it in my humans deck because I need another instant in there. Plus, the humans deck, the humans are really bad, but the spells are really good, and this is a really good spell. And then I'm going to be putting this in my Vial Smasher deck because I actually need some more instants for the deck where I get to deal a lot of damage on my opponent's turn. Next card is going to be Yuriko, the Tiger's Shadow. This card is busted, and I'm going to buy it before it gets too out of hand price-wise. She is extremely strong with the Commander Ninjutsu, and maybe I'm going to build a deck off of it. I don't know. I need to look into which cards to get for it. Boral's Charger. This is the Pegasus that gets planes when it leaves the battlefield. This is going into my Ruhan deck because I run a Myriad Skyrun, and I need a bunch of planes in play for it. So if this somehow dies from, I don't know, my own spell, like, this will accelerate me to get the Myriad online. Aminatu's Augury. This is the big blue spell that you flip the top 8 and then you get to put a land into play and then cast any number of those spells. There's the Muldrotha restriction, but that's fine. I pick one up for Ruhan because I really like the big spell stuff in the late game for that deck, and Muldrotha because my deck is built around being able to play all those different card types. Blood Tracker, this one's a pretty simple card. It's just a 1/1 counters card for my 1/1 counters deck, the Rayhan. When it dies, I draw a bunch of cards, and then I get to move those counters to other creatures with Rayhan. Enchanter's Bane, this is the red enchantment removal spell that we've been waiting for. Well, I've been waiting for like 10 years. This is going in my Ruhan deck, not my Ashland. Ashland has a bunch of artifact removal, or artifacts that can remove cards, so I don't really need it in that. But this one I could tutor up with Wild Research, and I could bring it back with Sun Titan, so pretty sweet. Genesis Storm, this is the really broken green spell. I don't know how many I'm picking up because I don't know how many I'm going to be putting in decks. Hopefully all of my green ones. I think it's pretty cool. Myth Unbound, this reduces the cost of your commanders by 1 each time you cast it from command zone, and when your commander goes back to the command zone, it goes back, you get to draw a card. I'm putting this in my Rayhan Ishai deck because I think I'm going to put it in all my partner decks, actually, because each partner would go back to the command zone, draws you more cards than having a deck without partners. So I think it's pretty sweet. Ravenous Slime, this is the Graveyard Hate card with 1/1 counters, so it's going in my 1/1 counters Rayhan deck. Kinda easy. Primordial Mist, I don't know which deck I'm putting this in yet. I think it's pretty sweet that there's another manifest type card. This fixes the manifest issue of, oh no, I didn't get a creature. So Saheeli's Decree, this is going into my Ashland Pilgrim deck, which is basically mostly artifacts. Ashland should actually be just Kirkesh, but it's my oldest deck. I'm not changing it because I'm stubborn about it. But Saheeli's Decree, this is Genesis Wave for artifacts, and there's a bunch of artifacts in it. So, Turntimber Sower, this is really strong in my Get Draw Monster deck where I kill my own lands, and I'll be making a bunch of plants, and then I'm going to return lands. It's going to be really strong. I might even play it in my Omnap deck. I don't know yet. Voldokin Humiliator. I'm also going to be playing this in Ruhan because the best card that actually gets rid of Ruhan is an 8/8 blocker or a 1x creature with Death Touch. So Humiliator is going to be able to turn them all into 1/1s with no abilities, and that means if they're going to block Ruhan, they're going to have to put a lot more in front of him, which means they're going to lose a lot more creatures. So, and then Loyal Guardian, that's another 1/1 counter card for my 1/1 counters deck. Kind of cool. So, those are all the cards I'm picking up for this Commander product. Like I said, I'm not that interested this year again. But I encourage you, if you like any of these archetypes, if you think you could build something off of the main commander or one of the various other commanders that are in the product, do it. This is like the building blocks to building your own deck, and I really like these products because of that. I'm not that interested in any of these decks, but if you're interested and want some help, send me a message, tweet at me on Twitter, and I'll take a look when I get a moment. So, alright, until next time, see you guys.